So, hi everybody, it's Jeff back again with this week's Weekly Wisdom Bite. What do meditation and airplanes have in common? If you think it's freedom, then you would be right, but likely not in the way that you suspect. What am I talking about? I'll get into it in just a second in this week's Weekly Wisdom Bite. Weekly Wisdom Bites are bite-sized meditation pointers specifically designed to uplevel your meditation practice so that you'll experience profound and powerful meditations. So what does meditation and airplanes have in common? We see many of us meditators, we identify with a plane, with an airplane. What do I mean? Well, if, say, there's an airplane and it's flying along and it's in an open, clear, cloudless sky, right? The plane's flying along and it's probably a pretty pleasurable ride, right? Not much turbulence. It's not that bumpy. But what if that same plane flies into say a supercell thunderstorm? Right, it flies into that supercell thunderstorm, and it's likely going to get bounced all over the place, right? Jostled up and down and tossed side to side, pretty violently. It's going to be some pretty intense turbulence, a bumpy ride, maybe even a harrowing type experience. You see, this is kind of what happens to meditators when they experience intense emotions, right? They tend to see themselves like the airplane going through the storm, the intense supercell storm, right? They're going through these emotional updrafts and they're getting tossed all about, in their experience, right? It makes for a very rough feeling, not so good feeling in the meditation. But what if you didn't identify with the plane, but rather identified with the sky? How would that change things? Right? What happens to the sky when there's a really intense supercell thunderstorm? Maybe it's even, got cyclonic activity, intense updrafts, high thunderhead clouds, all of that. Very intense. It causes quite a bit of wind shear, all these, really violent and dramatic wind events. But what's the effect on the sky itself? Right? Is the sky harmed? Is the sky injured? No, not in the least. You see, if we're the meditator and we identify with the sky rather than the plane, we are going to have much the same experience. We might feel some intensity, some emotional intensity, but it's not going to harm us. It's not going to injure us in any way, shape, or form. It's just going to be maybe an intense experience for a little while, and then it's going to dissipate and dissolve and be replaced by another experience. Right? You see, by virtue of the fact that we can be aware of the emotions, then we're not actually the emotions, and we're not subject to the emotions in the way that we believe ourselves to be. As the author Sam Harris likes to put it, that which is aware of fear is not fearful. Right? And you use that same statement for any of this sort of negative or challenging or intense emotions. That which is aware of frustration is not frustrated. That which is aware of sadness is not sad. Right? This is an analogy that I hope you find helpful in dealing with intense and challenging emotions. So the next time you're in meditation or even in your daily life and you're feeling and experiencing intense and challenging emotions, just think of this analogy. Are you identifying yourself like an airplane, or are you identifying with the sky, the vast open sky in which the clouds arise? So that's this week's That's this week's weekly wisdom bite. If you found it helpful, drop a comment below. And if you have a suggestion for one of these episodes, drop that in the comment section as well. Until next week, it's Jeff signing off.